Sports.
We are Fourth. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It has been a strong start to the 2018 season for Matt Boyd and the talented lefties on the mound tonight as we welcome you to Target Field, Game 2 in this three-game series featuring the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rhode Island. Glad to have you with us here for Game 2. Well, Tigers lost another tough one last night. Brought a 2-run decision. They got to start finding ways to win these games, but maybe some good news is starting to get a little bit healthier now.
Well, that's going to be key. I mean, before they had all the injuries to Candelario and Miguel Cabrera, these guys going on the disabled list, their offense was much more efficient. So now they've got to get these guys back. Jamer Candelario tomorrow will go down to Toledo. He will play in the next 3 days down there. Hopefully they'll get him back, and hopefully Miggy's not far behind him.
Right, now, the one guy that did do some damage last night, Nicholas Castellanos, who just continues to get it done.
You know, Nick can just bang. That much we do know. When he came out of high school, he was rated as the best high school hitting prospect in that particular draft, and all he has hit since he has come to the big leagues. Take a look at the damage that he does away from Comerica Park, 327, which is 9th in the American League. He's banging at 386 this particular month with a lot of RBIs and a huge OPS. He loves to hunt the first pitch fastballs, which he did in last night's game, and while he's hunting those first pitch fastballs, Nicholas is doing a whole lot of damage. He's batting in that number 2 spot once again here tonight. Ron Gardenhire had him there last night. He homered his first time up.
All right, now it's been fun to watch Matthew Boyd throw this year, and he is going to throw again here tonight. I guess throw's not a good word. He's a pitcher now, man. He has used both sides of the plate up and down, and, well, he's been really good against lefties.
You know, of all the guys that Chris Bosio has had a chance to help this year, I think Matthew Boyd has benefited the most from Chris Bosio being here. They started the relationship right after Bosio got the job, and now he's given him several weapons, and this is one of them right here, the little hesitation as he comes up here with the leg kick, and that gives you deception, and that allows Matthew Boyd to absolutely dominate left-handers to a 146 batting average this year. Lefties do nothing against Matthew Boyd. Lefties hit 256 against him last year. We talked about Max Kepler in last night's game. He's very talented for the Minnesota Twins. He's a left-hander that's been killing lefties, but guess what? Matthew's so good, he gets tonight off tonight, but here's another guy we talked about last night they got to watch. Rosario this month, tremendous. Last 14 games against left-handed pitching, really good. And he also hits the Tigers really, really well. So Matthew Boyd is going to have his hands full with Rosario, not to mention Dozier at the top of that lineup, but the way he's pitching, he can handle any lineup.
All right, Game 2 in the series is on the way. Coming up here tonight, the homecoming continues for Ron Gardenhire. When we come back, Gardy is mic'd up. More from the ballpark coming up next. by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Earlier today, Ron Gardenhire was mic'd up during batting practice, and he talked about how difficult it was coming out of the other dugout here in Minnesota.
It was really strange walking out to the mound last night to take a pitcher out coming from this side. Haven't done that. I was back with Arizona as a bench coach last year. So I really didn't, Torrey got thrown out of one game, so I had to manage. We were already losing 9-0, so I didn't have to do anything. So, but this was the first time as a manager, so it was really, I walked out of the dugout going, oh, geez, I've done this before from the other side.
And after the break, we'll check in with John Keating. Craig Monroe in the Call Sam studio. Stay with us. Lineup's first pitch next. It is a gorgeous evening here at Target Field in Minneapolis. Game 2 in the series. Tigers starting lineup tonight is as follows. It is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Martin, Castellanos, and Vimart in your top 3 spots. John Hicks will back cleanup. Nico Goodrum at third. McCann will catch your bottom 3. Jones, Iglesias, and Machado. And they're facing Lance Lynn tonight, presented by Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors.
Yeah, expect the Tigers to be patient tonight against Lance Lynn. He has walked 29 batters in the 8 starts so far this year. He likes to crisscross his fastballs in the strike zone, 1 a 2-seamer. He also a cutter. He also has a curveball that he will throw once he gets ahead. But Tigers have to make him get the ball over the plate. He's been struggling in that regard this year.
31-year-old Lance Lynn, a native of Indianapolis, Indiana. And here is Leonis Martin to get things started for the Tigers. Martin, Castellanos, Martinez for Detroit, who dropped a 2-run decision last night in the opener after dropping 3 out of 4 in Seattle to start the road trip. Hopefully better things tonight. Lance Lynn goes to work, And we're underway with a strike called on Martin.
Yeah, one of the keys to the Tigers of doing a much better job is Leonys Martin getting it going. And once again, he has not gotten a hit since coming off the disabled list, and he is their catalyst at the top of the batting order.
I wonder, as we have seen Martin now for 3 or 4 games, do you think his swing is a tad long right now?
Yeah, it's a tad long. It's a little bit big. I mean, I know the kid yesterday, Barrios, had some extra giddy up on his fastball, 95, 96, but he has been swinging through quite a few fastballs underneath him. I just think he needs to firm up the top hand a little bit and try to get on top of some fastballs.
Martin at 261, 5 home runs this year. He's knocked in 15.
Here's a pretty good fastball by Lynn. He can get into the mid-90s. He touched 96 several times in his last outing. That's a fastball up that you kind of want to lay off, but with 2 strikes. And sometimes you just have to offer at it because you don't know what the strike zone is as of yet for Marvin Hudson.
Ooh, look out. Martin had to buckle out of the way there.
I don't know how he was able to get out of the way of that. Looked like when it left Lynn's hand, it was headed right at Martin.
94-mile-an-hour heater up and in.
How about the cut on that last fastball, though?
Here are the umpires. Jeff Kellogg is your crew chief at third. Marvin Hudson behind the dish. Now the 1-2. Popped up third base side. Let's see if it gets back to the seats. And it will. Just out of the reach of Escobar.
Escobar getting a chance to play quite a bit these days with Sano. And being on the disabled list, Sano's going to play a game in Rochester tonight, so he's going to be back soon. But Escobar's a really good player for them, and when they're healthy with all their players, Mario, he doesn't get a chance to play, but getting a chance to play, he's definitely showing what he can do.
Yeah, no doubt. Both these teams trying to get healthy or healthier. And a swing and a miss, and Martin down on strikes, 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the Tim Horton starting defense for the Minnesota Twins. In the outfield, they've got Rosario, Buxton, and Lamar. In the infield, it reads Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, Morrison, and Mitch Garver, the starting catcher, once again.
Paul Molitor, the skipper of the Minnesota Twins, over 3,300 hits in his career. Here's Castellanos, who had a couple of knocks last night, including a home run against Barrios. He'll look at a strike 0-1.
Take a look at Lynn here. He likes to work on that first base side of the rubber. I mean, that allows him to get the fastballs away from the right-handers at about 95, which makes it tough for them to get to, especially when he's locating. But he hasn't been locating very well this year. And against the left-handers,
driven on a line to right field. That'll get down, a base hit. Lamar will get it back in. It's a 1-out single for Castellanos.
Nick just doesn't miss his fastballs, does he?
Nope, never. Seems that way at least.
And Lynn likes to throw lots of fastballs. Nicholas Castellanos, we talked about the fact that he's been banging on the road. He pulls his hands in nicely and takes the single the opposite way. That's a beautiful swing by Nick.
Here is Victor Martinez, tonight's DH for the Tigers. .234 for V-Mart. He has hit 4 home runs. Hitless in the ballgame last night, 0 for 4.
And Victor did hit 1 ball hard last night right at Logan Morrison, the first baseman. There's their manager, Paul Molitor. And Molitor had some really nice things to say about Ron Gardenhire last night. Is the fact of the matter that Ron Gardenhire in his last year managing here in Minnesota, he had Paul Molitor on his staff. He handled the defense. He handled the base running. In-game strategy coach was his role for Ron Gardenhire.
Ground ball back up the middle. Diving stop. Dozier goes to second. 1 relay. They'll get a double play.
Oh my goodness, really?
4-6-3 Dozier, Adrianza, and on to Morrison. And the Tigers are done here in the first as the Twins flash some leather. On the hill for the Tigers, presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
His record should be a whole lot better if he would only get a little bit of run support, but he has not gotten much. But he continues to go out and put up zeros. The ERA for Matthew Boyd is 3.19. His record is 2-3. He saw Minnesota 6 times last year, so they know each other very well.
Very well. And when you look at this lineup, a lot of these Twins have a lot of at-bats against Matt Boyd. And Dozier has kind of led the charge. He is batting over 400 versus Matt. Dozier to get things started here, the second baseman for the Twins. He'll drive the first pitch high in the air to left. It's going to be playable for Jacoby Jones. 1 pitch and 1 out. Here's the remainder of the lineup for the Twins, brought to you by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Dozier is followed by Grossman. The DH is batting second tonight. Then Rosario and Escobar. Mitch Garver catching. Logan Morrison at first base. Lamar Adrianza and Buxton, your bottom 3.
Max Kepler, their very talented right fielder, having an outstanding season. They got a big hit last night against Blaine Hardy, who's a left-hander. Batting .333 against lefties, but gets the night off tonight against Matthew. And 1, Matthew has real good numbers against Kepler. And 2, we were told that Paul Molitor did not want him to mess up his swing, Matthew Boyd, because he's dominated him. So a couple of different reasons why Kepler not in today.
So Grossman bats in the 2-spot DHs and looks at strike 1.
So now it's getting to the point where some of the managers in baseball will not play their left-handers against Matthew. That's a real nice indication of him dominating left-handed batters.
Well, Matthew has that great slider, which opposing batters have not been able to touch. Lefties hitting 146 against him. And there's Kepler watching the action tonight.
Lefties hit 256 against Matthew last season, so he's really improved in that regard.
Slice to right field, sinking, and a sliding play by Castellanos.
And Castellanos had and got a really nice jump on that sinking liner off the bat of Grossman. And that's the only way that you make a play like that. You get a good jump, you come in, and he left his feet. He had a pretty good idea that he could make that play. He knew that ball wouldn't get past him. It's always risky when your corner outfielders leave their feet because nobody's behind them to back them up. So already a couple nice defensive plays in this game.
Now Rosario. Rosario enjoying a 6-game hitting streak, had a double in the ball game last night.
He stands right on top of the plate. As a matter of fact, his hands rest comfortably over the dish.
Bouncing ball foul.
Oakland University brings you the Tigers starting defense. Left to right, you've got Jones, Martin, and Castellanos. Up the middle in the infield is Iglesias Machado. Goodrum gets another start at third base. Hicks over at first base, and James McCann. And back behind the dish. And take a look at this look right here. I mean, he's right on top of the plate. His hands will rest right over the plate. He's inviting you to throw the ball inside.
Popped in the air to straightaway center field where Martinez positioned, and that's going to be a 1-2-3, 3-fly ball out, first inning for Boyd. home runs in this game. Bring a copy of the box to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. It'll be John Hicks to lead things off. He can go deep. Hicks, Goodrum, and McCann facing Lance Lynn. For Hicks, 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. 5 hits on the road trip. And a very solid .290 batting average for the Tigers first baseman. That's in there, a strike called on the outer edge.
Lance Lynn made 33 starts last year for the St. Louis Cardinals and pitched some pretty good baseball for them. Nearly 200 innings, had a winning record, but pretty much was frozen out in the free agent market in the offseason, finally getting a 1-year deal from Minnesota.
Lynn's 33 starts led the National League. He won 11 ball games last year. He signed, I think, mid-March with them.
Yeah, he couldn't find a job. He's one of those guys that was really searching for a job, and spring training was nearly over.
Swing and a miss, 6. He goes chasing there. A strikeout for Lynn.
That's what they're trying to get him to do more of, spin the baseball.
Second strikeout for Lynn. Timeout for the Lowe's whole team together. Tigers again losing by a couple of runs last night, and they now have dropped, or played, I should say, in 29 games decided by 2 runs or fewer. 29.
That's a lot. Gives you an idea how much they miss Miguel Cabrera and how much they also miss Jamer Candelario. They missed those 2 big bats.
Asked Gardy before the game today if that stat means anything to him, or if it's just a matter of, you know, wins and losses really meaning the only real thing, and he said, well, you know, we are competitive, but in the end we just need to get those big hits. We need to have the bullpen step up. Starting pitchers have to step up, but that is an awful lot of 2-run games, so they have been competitive shorthanded. 1-1. Even the just presence of Miguel Cabrera in the middle of your lineup changes the whole feel of a game.
That's right.
Here's the 1-1.
Told you that Lynn throws lots of fastballs, and the fact that he stands on the first base side of the rubber really allows him to get his cutter inside on left-handers. He stuck Martin out with a cutter inside, and that last fastball to Nico Goodrum was an aggressive fastball inside. That's why some guys stand on one side or the other, because they want to take advantage of that angle.
Check swing roller to first base. Lynn will cover, and Nico is nipped at the wire. 2 gone. Speaking of Gardy, he was mic'd up during batting practice today, so here are some of the sounds of the game tonight from Ron Gardenhire.
Beloved manager here, and now he's taking over the Tigers, and he's going to try to beat us.
They fired me.
No,
they fired me.
I didn't.
The Twins fired me.
But he's
rightfully
back.
so, though. I deserved it. I earned it. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Herbo! Hey, good seeing you. Yeah. You all right?
Yeah.
What's happening, man?
Good, nothing.
I got a mic on. All right, you just be careful. You'll get fired before we get into the first month.
How about Gardy? They fired me. Yeah, they fired me.
That's real talk.
It is, man. He is such a character.
I was watching Gardy when he came out of the dugout today for batting practice, knowing that he had that mic on, and just everybody didn't bother him yesterday because it's his first day back, but today the security guards and the people that run the elevators and just everybody was coming on the field just to say hello to Gardenhire, the camera people, everybody in this ballpark. When you spend that much time in one place and you're the kind of guy that Ron Gardenhire is, you're going to have a lot of really positive memories, and you're going to make a lot of friends, and he made a lot of friends here.
It's amazing how many behind-the-scenes folks there are on a daily basis that you carve out relationships with over the years at a big league ball stadium, and that's what Gardenhire has done. And they came out full force today. I think Ron really just kind of wants to get back to normal, though.
Yeah, he probably does. I mean, he seems like he's that kind of guy.
McCann with 2 outs.
But he's earned all the attention that he's getting here in Minnesota.
Now they go 2.
And Lance Lynn coming out throwing a whole lot more strikes than he did in his last outing against his former team, the St. Louis Cardinals. He only lasted 3 innings in that game. That was just 5 days ago, and he walked 4 in the 3 innings that he pitched. He needed 35 pitches to get out of the first inning in his last outing.
Well, Lynn in the month of April walked a boatload of players, 23 walks in 23 2/3 innings.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man, I mean, that's almost 1 per inning.
Didn't he have a starter where he walked 6? He had another starter where he walked 5.
Yeah, his first start of the year, 6 Pittsburgh Pirates. 2 starts later, 5 Tampa Bay Rays.
And Tigers just need to keep him reeling, because right now he is not pitching very well. But with each inning that he pitches and he puts up a goose egg, he's going to gain confidence.
I would also think as Lynn becomes more comfortable here with his new team in this ballpark and a new league, that his second half probably is going to be a lot better based on his past.
Yeah, because his hits per 9 have gone up to 11 per 9, and they were just 7 per 9 last year. We've already talked about the walks. They're way up from last year when he was in St. Louis. It's not the pitcher Minnesota thought they were getting. Not yet, at least. He's got 2 different fastballs. That was a 2-seamer. He likes to throw that 2-seamer to the right-handers because he can crowd them with that particular pitch. And he likes to throw the cutter to the left-handed batters because he wants to get inside on them with that pitch. And when you see 96, 97, that's just a 4-seam fastball. It's amazing how these guys can make this baseball dance just by the finger pressure that they put on the baseball, or lack thereof it.
Well, here are the ERAs the last 4 years, up from 2.74 to this year at 7.47 early on.
I get why his attitude might have been a little salty at the beginning of this year. 3.46 ERA, a 3.03 last year. You hit the free agent mark and you can't get a gig.
Chopper up the middle. That'll find a hole, base hit. 2-out single for McCann. Tigers have their second hit. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game. It is presented by McDonald's. He'll bring up Jacoby Jones.
And Jacoby having a rough road trip. He is 1 for 17. Jacoby just needs to get back to the basics. Make sure that he can get good strikes to hit, because when Jacoby does get good strikes to hit, he's a very dangerous hitter. He's probably left the strike zone too frequently on this road trip.
One for 17 for Jones, 0 for 3 in the series. Jacoby's numbers certainly have been much better at home this year. Sprayed foul out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike.
See, that's what happens when you start to struggle just a little bit. You're kind of in between. You're a little bit tardy on your fastballs and you commit too early to your breaking balls, and that's kind of what Jacoby's been the last couple of days, but he'll get back out of it again. He's way too talented. See if they throw him a breaking ball here. No, look, fastball in.
Two and 1 on Jones. Should he reach Iglesias next? Two and 2.
Take a look at the action on this 2-seam fastball at 93. And when you're Jacoby, you see it coming right down the middle, and then it just kind of inches its way in on the inner third of the plate and just kind of crosses you up. He's got good life on his heater today.
Line to left field. That'll get down all the way to the wall. McCann coming to third base, and they're going to stop in there. Jacoby with a 2-out double.
All Jacoby needs to do is get strikes. It's simple. He's got tremendous hand speed. That was an identical pitch to the previous pitch at 93, and Jacoby saw this one a little bit better with 2 strikes, and he absolutely smoked it down the left field line with those quick hands. James McCann around second. He's able to get to third. Jacoby with a double. Now 2 for 18 on this road trip. Attaboy, Jacoby.
So we'll see if the Tigers can cash in now with 2 outs. Here's the guy to do it, Iglesias, 1 out of 3 last night.
He's been performing very well.
Fly ball center field. Byron Buxton going back, and that'll end the threat. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left.
A whole lot better against left-handers so far this year. He's been able to locate that breaking ball and the fastball, all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. He's been dominant. He also giving you some hesitation when he's in his delivery. And we're going to show you his hot and cold zone as well against left-handers, and you're going to get a really good idea of why he is so good against left-handers. Take a look at this here. These are against lefties, and that's the outside part of the plate. 28% down and away, 15 right down the middle, but on the outer third. And you can also see right down the middle, 13% lefties having a difficult time. So he doesn't go in on lefties. He's been pitching them away, and it's been working very well for him all year.
He will face Escobar here in the second. And Garver, then Morrison. And it's yanked to the left side of the infield, but out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Eduardo Escobar. Pretty good night last night. 2 out of 3. Also had a walk. He's done some damage in his days against the Tigers. 8 career home runs.
Yeah, he's having a solid season.
That'll back him out.
Yeah, there's that slider. And Boyd not afraid to throw the slider to the left-handers or the right-handers. He'll also throw that changeup. He'll fade it away from the righties.
Blaine Hardy had a nice job last night. Strike call.
Yeah, Blaine did do a nice job. I saw Blaine at the hotel, and he said that he just can't get through that 5th inning without giving up a couple of runs. In his couple of starts this year, he said that's the 1 inning he just can't get through yet. But he pitched well.
Shut him down until the 2-run double by Kepler in the 5th inning last night. Popped up. Shallow right field. It's going to be Castellanos.
Even though the Minnesota Twins saw Matthew Boyd 6 times, Mario, they didn't see this Matthew Boyd. They didn't see the Matthew Boyd with the deception in the delivery. They didn't see the Matthew Boyd that's quickened up his pace by 4 seconds in between pitches. They haven't seen the Matthew Boyd whose slider usage has gone way up this year. So they're seeing a different Matthew so far today.
as is the rest of the league. Boyd last year, looking up some numbers, I mean, he was topping out at 95, 96 with his fastball. And really, when you look at his numbers this year, it's pretty much been 91, 92.
Look at that little backdoor breaking ball right there, 72 for strike one. That is a beautiful thing. I'd like to see that 93, 94 once again.
Fouled away.
I haven't asked, but I would imagine that if you're a pitcher and you have decreased your fastball usage as much as he has, then your velocity probably will go down a tick if you're not throwing as many fastballs. I'm not a pitching coach, but
good point.
It sounds good to me.
Sounds about right. There's Chris Bosio, who did a lot of work with Boyd even before the season even started. Even before spring camp, Boz worked on a few things with Boyd. That little hesitation we talked about also serves as a drill in the bullpen to, as Matt said, keep me from leaking out in front and having some drag on my arm. And that's when pitchers don't do what you want them to do. Pulled to third. Nice play down there by Nico. That had double written all over it.
I like the fact that Nico gets himself in a real nice athletic position when the ball gets in the hitting zone. And when you get your feet on the balls of your feet, it allows you to move laterally. And he's able to move laterally because he's got some movement before the pitch is thrown. That's a real nice look of the pre-pitch movement. Even better look right here. Take a look at the feet here. He's moving, and that allows him to take one step at a dive and make a nice play.
Logan Morrison struck out 3 times last night, was 0 for 3, did have an RBI though. In fact, Morrison had that big bases loaded walk in the 8th inning to give them the lead.
And Logan's got a lot of sock in his bat. 38 home runs last year playing for the Tampa Bay Rays.
That was good for 5th in the American League. The 1-1. He went around 1-2.
Here's that hot and cold zone once again. You know where he wants to go against Morrison. And 15% down the middle of the way. That will be a fastball. 28% at the bottom of the strike zone. That is his breaking ball, and that's where he wants to go with 2 strikes. We'll see if he's able to locate it. Here it comes.
Sliced up the middle. Nico, nice play. Can't get it out of the glove, and safe at first. Morrison able to beat it out. Goodrum got to the ball but couldn't make the exchange.
He threw the breaking ball, but this one stayed up, and it allowed Morrison to make contact. One hopper to Goodrum. Looked like he'd be out, but he couldn't get a good handle on the baseball. And credit Morrison for really hustling down the line to get himself an infield single.
That is the first hit of the ball game now for Minnesota, and that'll bring up Ryan Lamar. And Lamar looks at a strike. He was recalled today as Phil Hughes was designated for assignment, the longtime veteran pitcher. Lamar has Michigan roots, Jackson Lumen Christi High School, and also the University of Michigan.
And getting the start in right field for Max Kepler tonight.
High fly ball right field, chasing Castellanos back in front of the warning track to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left, 2 in the books here in Minneapolis. Here come the Tigers now as we go to the top of the third. Still no score in this one. The Tigers had a single, a double in the second, but Lance Lynn pitched out of it. He's got Dixon Machado to lead things off, then Leonis Martin and Nick Castellanos. Machado walked twice in the ballgame last night, showing bunts.
Lance Lynn has had 3 starts here at Target Field. They've lost all 3 of those starts. He's 0-2. And with a 6.23 ERA, so the Tigers just need to continue to try to put some quality plate appearances together and get some traffic on the base paths.
Lynn in his Cardinals days was awfully good. 72-47 with St. Louis and a 3.38 ERA. That was the cumulative of all of his years in St. Louis. So yes, if he is a little bit chapped about the fact that he couldn't get the deal that he wanted in the offseason, you can see why.
Right. And then right after he signed, Alex Cobb got a 4-year deal from the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, he did. So that was probably a little more salt in the wounds there for Lynn. 1-2 on Machado. And Dixon looks at a ball down low.
Right now, Lance Lynn is about 82% with his fastball, whether it be the two-seam fastball or the cut fastball. Very few off-speed pitches as of yet. I think he may be taking a page out of Jose Barrios' book from last night. Barrios was able to throw quite a few fastballs by some of the Tiger hitters last night, and he was sensational in doing so.
Barrios at one point had retired 15 straights.
Ended up getting the win in that game last night.
Yeah, his stuff was pretty electric. Dodged around some early trouble and really shut the Tigers down.
And Tigers hitters said as much this afternoon.
Ground ball, third base side, scooped up there by Escobar. Machado is on one away. Menards brings you the big money encounter. Rod Gardner mic'd up before the game today, encounters his quote hero.
That's my idol right there. Hey. Ah! I told Joe, hey, listen, some of these things, like, after, I want you to start telling me before it happens, not after, that was a bad matchup.
Did he actually do the Fernando Rodney arrow?
Yeah, he shot the arrow up into the air. Rodney's signature celebration.
Thanks to Gardy for allowing us to mic him up, and we'll certainly bring you those mic'd up excerpts.
Is there a better celebration in baseball by closer?
Well, I'm not sure hitters would agree with you, but yeah, it's a great celebration.
Well, them hitters got to get a hit, and then they can do it. It's one way of quieting Mr. Rodney down.
Martin rolls one foul. 0-2 the count on Leonis, who struck out to start the game and is now 0 for 17 since returning from the disabled list.
They really miss his production at the top of the batting order. When he was in the lineup before he went on the disabled list, he was doing a wonderful job. Extra base hits. He was scoring 2 runs a game. He was a catalyst for the lineup. Jacoby was batting second, and they had a really nice 1-2 combination going when both guys were rolling. They got to get Martin going again.
One and two.
Here's what I'm talking about. Here's the numbers prior to the DL. 294. The on-base percentage was over 350, and he had 15 extra base hits. He is now 0 for 17 since coming back. He scored 1 run, and that came in his first at-bat after him coming back.
1-2 is chopped slowly right side. Lynn going to have to make the play here, and he dropped it, and Martinez aboard. You could just see that materializing as Lynn was lumbering toward the ball.
And you see it all the time. I mean, it's simple. It's just pitchers fielding practice. Lynn's going to get over to the baseball. He's going to try to pick it up with his glove with one hand, and he's also going to take a look at Martin. And once he looks up at Martin, right there as he reached down for the ball, he didn't get down low enough. Right here, he's going to look up, and the glove never gets down low enough to make the play.
It'll be an error on Lynn.
I guess we'll see how well that hamstring is right now of Leonis Martins.
Meanwhile, Garver, the catcher, is out to the mound, utilizing a mound visit.
How about that? He had to give him a break from running over to first base. He had to give him a blow. Time for the DTE Energy Know Your Own Power. How about Nicholas Castellanos? First pitch he saw last night from Jose Barrios. He went straight central for a solo shot. Nick can just hit.
Number 5 for Castellanos. The one thing about Nick is, since Mickey has been out, his production really hadn't slipped all that much without that big enforcer behind him.
One thing about Nicholas Castellanos, he plays on a baseball field on a nightly basis with a lot of superstars on both teams, but you can't tell him that he's not the best player on the field. That's just what makes him go. He always has believed that he is the best player on the field. He said he got that from his father. It's a wonderful thing when you have a parent that can instill that kind of confidence in you, especially in a game of failure like Major League Baseball. This is a tough game.
Nick had his challenges when he first got to the major leagues. I think a lot was expected of Castellanos, but yearly he would improve. His numbers every single season would bump up from the previous year.
Nick said he was trying to do too much when he first came up. He said he was hitting early, he was hitting late, he was hitting on off days, and he said that was just too much for him. He says, I've always been able to hit, and I've always been a guy that's never taken that much batting practice. And so you go back to last year when he really stopped taking all those swings in September, about the same time he moved to the outfield. His numbers are way up.
He's got a juicy 2-0 count here. And he swings and fouls it off at 95 from Lynn.
It's the best fastball we've seen so far from Lance.
The other thing about Castellanos is that he really is not much into scouting reports or video of all that stuff. He does not pour over anything.
Nope. He used the term of a windshield, and having water on your windshield, it clouds your thinking. You know what I mean? He says he wants nothing on his windshield. He wants a clear windshield so he can see and focus without clouding his mind with all those numbers and some of the things that could cloud your mind from time to time.
Judging by his numbers, no birds have been flying over his windshield either.
No.
It's been a clear windshield. 2-1 on Castellanos. Martin is at first, reaching on an error. Just missed. Now 3-1.
This has been a really good at bat. And Lynn knows how hot Nicholas Castellanos has been for the Tigers, therefore pitching very carefully to Nick, and Nick has not left the strike zone, swinging at any of those borderline fastballs that Lynn has been throwing him. If he throws Nicholas a fastball here, it will be some contact, and it will be some hard contact.
Runner goes. Line on one hop to the shortstop. Throw to second, safe. Relay to first in time. Adrianza still trying to get Martin, even though he was on the run.
Nicholas did get the 3-1 fastball, and he hit an absolute seed. And right at Adrianza. Good hustle by Martin, therefore they couldn't turn the double play.
No double play, but a 6-4-3 putout of Castellanos. So with 2 outs now, we'll bring up Victor Martinez with a man in scoring position. B-Mark grounding into a 4-6-3 double play, and a terrific play by Dozier diving to his right to start a twin killing.
Mario, here's where the game has changed. So take a look at Martin here sliding into second base. Back in the old days, if you're sliding into second base and that second baseman is trying to turn that double play like that, there's no way he would have been able to turn that ball over. Old days. Martin would have slid right through the bag, and he would have made sure that Dozier didn't get the out at first base. But that's how the game has changed these days. You can't even break up a double play, really.
No, and really the instincts that have been taught and that players have had coming up in the minor leagues and all through their, amateur days as well. You've got to change all of that, or at least you've had to the last couple of years.
The second baseman used to be in fear of those types of plays right there, where you've got your back turned to the base runner and you're trying to turn a double play. But now they don't even care because the base runners aren't aggressive taking out people anymore. That would have never been an out at first base a few years back.
Meanwhile, 2-0 on Martinez. So Lynn continues to fall behind here in the third.
And Victor's done a nice job with runners in scoring position. And 35% of his at-bats. He's done well. Highest in Major League. League average 24%.
Infield not playing to pull like they normally would with the runner at second. And Adrianza behind the runner. Here's the 2-1.
And Victor hit into a double play his first time up. Dozier, who won a Gold Glove last year at second base, made a diving stab, got it to the shortstop, and they were able to turn it over.
Well, Ron Gardenhire made it quite clear before the game today the Tigers offense really needs to start helping the bullpen and the staff out. They've got to score some more runs. Tigers got 2 early ones last night but could not tack on. The 2-2 is lifted back out of play. And I think going forward, this is a team that once Cabrera returns and Jeimer Candelario returns, we'll start seeing this ball club become a little bit more consistent offensively. Jeimer will be going down to the minor leagues playing for Toledo. They want to give him 12 at bats and then get him back up to the big leagues if things go well.
He walked out of Ron Gardenhire's office after they told him he was going down to Toledo for the next couple of days on a rehab assignment. He walked out with a big smile on his face.
He is just ready to play again. Bouncing ball right side. Dozier this time to his left. And Martinez will leave a man at second. We'll go to the bottom of the third in Minneapolis. Time now for the Bernstein advantage. Consecutive innings without allowing a home run. Matthew Boyd is now up to 28 2/3. These are updated numbers.
That's pretty good. That is really good, as a matter of fact.
About the 3 guys ahead of him. Colors, Severino, Verlander.
Yeah, those guys are pretty good.
Now Boyd back to work now. He gave up a 2-out single in the second. That's it. A-Ray Adrianza is stepping in now. Adrianza followed by Buxton and Dozier. 209 had a double in the ball game last night. Boyd missing outside. 2-0. Matthew has been the model of consistency this year for the Tigers. Outside 3-0. There has been only one start this year in which Boyd has not completed at least 6 innings. And he'll look at a strike. 3-1. Adrianza has had success against Boyd. 4 for 7 against him. And he walked him.
I want to go back to a play from last night with Martin in center field, Rosario at third base. This is a very shallow pop fly, and take a look at Martin. He drops his hands, and then Rosario tags up, and he's able to score because of the lack of intensity by Martin. But take a look at Martin do it the right way. This was in Seattle on Saturday. Deep fly ball. He gets back there. He anticipates that the runner on second is going to tag up. He grabs that ball and he throws it in. That's what you have to do all the time. And Martin knew that. He felt horrible about last night allowing Rosario to steal that run on him. And Ron Gardenhire said as much today when we were talking about him. But it's just one of those plays, Mario, where Ron Gardenhire said he saw Rosario, said he saw Martin drop the hands. And when the hands drop, he just kind of took off.
I never knew that was one of the keys for a base runner. Watching the outfielder, if he drops his hands, you can go. Here's a bunt to first. And Buxton's going to be out. Even bunted right at the guy. He's out by a step.
Yeah, he could fly. He should bunt once a game. But that was just 2 examples of one anticipating by Martin in center field, which was the last one I showed you. Then the first one, he was so shallow. He didn't think there was no way that Rosario was going to tag up. As a matter of fact, I asked Ron Gardenhire. I said, have you ever seen anybody tag up on a fly ball that shallow? He said, no, I've never, ever seen it.
Well, here is Dozier now. Runner at second and 1 out. Strike 1 to Dozier.
Matthew Boyd really has to pitch carefully here to Dozier, even though he's struggling right now. He's 2 for his last 26. He came in batting .433 in his career against Matthew, and quite a few at bats. Be careful, you got a base open.
Dozier flying to left in the first inning, was 1 for 4, doubled in the ball game last night. He came in at .433 with 3 homers career versus Boyd. And he's had a lot of at bats against him.
What a gorgeous night.
Can't beat it.
Wow.
75 at game time.
Beautiful night. No humidity. Just gorgeous. In a gorgeous ballpark. Now the boys just need a W.
Now the 1-1. Fouled away. 1-2 on Dozier.
And Matthew Matthew doesn't usually use his fastball to strike hitters out. He'd much rather go to the breaking ball, whether it be a right-hander or a left-hander. And we might see him go upstairs against Dozier, but if you do go up top, you got to go way up to get a swing and miss because he's a decent fastball hitter. Breaking ball down.
Grossman on deck. Boyd had a 7-pitch first, 17-pitch second. And he's up to 34 now. Dozier sends a ground ball up the middle. Iglesias. Runner will advance, and there are 2 gone. Let's head now to Mickey York.
Mario, a lot less hoopla surrounding Matthew Boyd's start here tonight than there was a week ago in Seattle when he made his first career start in his hometown, and everyone was there. But it gave us an opportunity to visit his hometown. He took us to the Athletic Training Institute, where he's been training since he was in 8th grade, introduced us to his trainer, Kirk Bradshaw, who he credits for a lot of his success. We also made it over to Bannerwood Park, where he played a lot of his high school games, several of his summer league games, and it was there where his mother told me that's where they first got the idea that perhaps Matthew could pitch at the next level. He threw a complete game no-hitter in a high school playoff game and also provided the game's only run with a home run, and people came up to the family after that game, and we can see he can cover home plate as well. Came up to him after that game and said, hey, your son was pitching at a AA level. He has a chance to be something special, and as we found out, he indeed is, guys.
And he covered home plate nicely there that time, and they cut a runner down at home plate. Still no score. Twins try to score a run on a ball that got by McCann, but not far enough.
Yeah, Andreon's probably a little bit too more aggressive there. The ball trickled just a few feet away from McCann, and McCann got there, made a nice play along with Matthew Boyd.
So we're still scoreless as we go to the 4th. It'll be Hicks, Goodrum, and McCann facing Lance Lynn, who has thrown 54 pitches through 3 innings. He got Hicks to strike out his first time up. He'll lace that one foul down the right field line.
Yeah, here's a nice job by James McCann after the ball got past him. He found it, alerted it quickly, got there, and got it to Matthew Boyd, who applied the tag. And Andreon's trying to force the issue. That ball didn't get far enough for him to score. You know, we were talking to Ron Gardner today about this limestone behind home plate, all that stuff right there. If the ball hits that, it will come back to the catcher really quick. So sometimes as a base runner, you have to really pay attention to see if that ball comes back to the catcher, and sometimes they can throw you out. One of the little nuances here behind home plate.
To the shortstop, Andreazza throws in time. Long throw to get him. Hicks gone, 1 out here in the 4th. I think a lot of the stadiums now we're seeing more brick behind home plate. You know, Comerica Park has it now.
Yeah, it just adds a little character.
It also has a little heads up if the ball goes that far back and ricochets back to the catcher.
And meanwhile, the Tigers have not figured out Lance Lynn as of yet here.
Goodrum is 0 for 1, bounced out to the first baseman. Lynn last year was not last year, but 2012 was an all-star when he won 18 games with the Cardinals, his best year.
And Tommy John in 2016, but he came back, and we told you made 33 starts last year, so he was healthy. There's no question about that.
He faced his former team in his last start. As fate would have it, the Cardinals were on the docket this year for the Twins, and he lasted only 3 innings. Goodrum waits on an 0-2.
Lance Lynn is starting to incorporate his changeup here a little bit. He threw a changeup to Nico Goodrum. You can see it's a circle change, and it faded nicely to the outside corner. So we've seen the cutter, we've seen the 2-seam, we've seen the breaking ball. Now here in the 4th, he started to throw some changeups.
Tigers have had at least 1 base runner in every inning so far. They had 2 on in the 2nd, but Iglesias flied out. Bouncing in 2-2 on Goodrum. Nico began his career in the Twins system. Spent a lot of years with the Twins in the minor leagues, 8 seasons.
Yeah, really came into his own last year. Paul Molitor, he worked with Nico Goodrum in the minor leagues when he was a minor league instructor, base running instructor, before he was elevated to the major league staff.
Got him, strike 3. Goodrum didn't like it. And Marvin Hudson is finding out about it. 2 gone. Time for a game break now, and John Keating.
My first major league hit was against George Frazier on April 13th in the Kingdome in Seattle in 1983.
Not like you marked that down or anything. You probably remember the pitch too, don't you?
He asked me. It was a fastball, I believe. He broke my bat. It was on the first pitch.
He broke your bat?
He did. It did. But it snuck through between short and third, though.
No, but the box score says it was a line drive.
Yeah, but then I got back to the dugout, and Richie Zisk, he had the baseball, and he was holding it. He said he was checking it for blood. He did.
It knocks a knock.
He was cold. I'll take that knock, though.
1 ball and 1 strike. Willie Adames was a former Tigers farmhand.
He's finally in the big leagues, huh?
Yeah, and for so many years they were saying that he was with the Tigers and the Rays, one of their top prospects.
Yeah, they gave him up in the David Price deal.
They did. Foul back, good hack there by James. 1-2.
Yeah, McCann has 1 of the 3 Tigers hits today. It was a firm single right back up the middle.
That came with 2 outs in the 2nd, and then Jones doubled to give the Tigers runners at 2nd and 3rd, but Lynn pitched out of it. 2-2 the count. We're at Target Field here in Minneapolis. Mario, Rod, Mickey York is with us. Chris Wazalewski, our producer. Michael Odino directing our show here tonight on a spectacular evening here in Minnie. 2-2 on McCann. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 4 strikeouts now for Lance Lynn. We go to the bottom of the 4th.
Because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Back here in Minneapolis as the Tigers and the Twins go at it here, bottom of the 4th inning, and it's going to be Grossman, Rosario, Escobar.
He's a little chilly, man.
Star Wars night tonight here.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, Star Wars
It's
night.
our 3rd one of the year.
That's right. There's probably 4 or 5 more to come.
Now, who was he supposed to be?
No idea.
It's a little hot for Chewbacca. I didn't see Chewbacca earlier. A little hot for Chewbacca.
Grossman is 0 for 1. Lance Lynn has done a much better job tonight than he has really in most of his starts so far this year. Boyd matching him.
Well, the one thing that Matthew Boyd really hasn't gotten, and it can change, he just hasn't gotten much run support. He really hasn't in all of his starts this year.
2-1. Boyd surrendered a single of the infield variety back in the 2nd and also a walk in the 3rd. That's it. There's a strike on the outer edge. Two and 2 on Grossman. Just missed. 3-2.
And Matthew Boyd puts you to sleep with the off-speed pitches. Then he comes back with that 90-mile-per-hour fastball and looks like it's 100.
Ball 4. Leadoff man on. We check back in with Mickey York.
Yeah, Mario, we've been hearing from Ron Gardenhire after we mic'd him up during batting practice today. That's been entertaining, but we were also entertained during last night's post-game press conference, which actually happened to provide our 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game.
Score some runs and take some pressure off them might help.
What kind of quandary are you in right now?
You guys got to get out because it's Alavila. Who you might want to fire him. Why don't you just go ahead and get out and figure out your own answers?
All right. He wasn't calling to fire
right
Ron Gardenhire. He's still the manager of the Tigers. We're happy to report today. But Mario, as we come to find out, that there typically is a theme with Gardenhire's ringtones. Isn't that right?
Yes, indeed, Mick. When he was with the Minnesota Twins one year, things were going so poorly, he had Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" as this ringtone. And it's pulled to right field. It is hooking and foul. So we know Gardy's got a sense of humor, to be sure.
He loves his music. I mean, during the course of spring training, on the very first day of spring, when everybody got together on the backfields, the minor league fields, he said it was way too quiet. So the next day, he had music on the fields, and the guys kind of did their work listening to various music. One day it'd be Motown, one day it'd be country, next day it'd be a little rap. Mostly rap when the young minor leaguers got there. It didn't go back to the country no more.
Good block by McCann there.
It was a large variation when the big leaguers were there, because Gardenhire kind of handled the playlist, but when the young kids got there, it changed.
How about the bus rides? They're so much different now from the airport to the hotel. We had never seen a manager sit in the back of the bus. They're typically in seat 1 on the bus.
Right.
Gardy's back there playing his tune.
He's sitting back there with the common folk.
That's right. And he enjoys it.
Sitting back there with us.
One hopper to second, could be 2. Machado, Iglesias, not in time. Rosario, too much speed.
It's a nice job here by Machado, making sure they at least get the lead out. They know they're not going to get 2, not with Rosario, but he did give Iglesias a firm feed. Iglesias still threw it over there. And sometimes you never know whether the base runner might fall and trip or anything, which will allow you to turn 2.
Here is Escobar. Flat out to right field in his only at bat. Rosario 4 steals at first. He's been caught once.
Rosario is the best all-around player on the Minnesota Twins right now. It's not Buxton, it's not Dozier, it's Rosario. This guy can do everything. He can steal bases. He made a great play defensively last night to end the game. It looked like Hicks had a double off that 339 sign in left field. There was Rosario making a tremendous catch to end the game. But he hits for power, hits for average. He's got a good arm. Ron Gardenhire said, as a matter of fact, his final year of managing here, he really fought to have Rosario on his team, even though Rosario was very young. But Rosario didn't come until the following year.
One ball and 1 strike. You know, that play that Rosario made to end the ball game last night gets overlooked, because if that ball goes for a double, the Tigers, the way they've been playing, and coming back in ball games, they would have had a shot.
Yeah.
And you kind of lose a play like that because Barrios was so dominant in the ball game.
And you had Goodrum coming up after John Hicks. He's got power.
Two and one now, the count on Eduardo Escobar. Twins have just 1 hit. Tigers have 3. No score in the 4th inning.
A nice job here by James, making sure Rosario doesn't get off that bag too far. Snap throw down to first base. It's a nice job there by John Hicks, making sure that ball didn't get down the right field line.
Ground ball left side, Goodrum. He'll fire to second. 1 relay double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3 to go. 4 in the books here in Minneapolis. Tigers baseball presented by Pastime.
right? And I go walking around and like, and then people are like I go out and catch without my glasses, like right now. See, these are prescription, right? But my regular glasses, I go out to catch without them, and I kid you not, they throw the ball and I go. And then they're like, you're just doing that. And I'm like, put them on.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, you're like Mr. Magoo. Great song, huh? All the way up. That's all you have to know.
Yep. Cardy's unreal, man.
Oh, my goodness. What a beauty. What a beauty. What a beauty.
Lance Lynn goes to work. And the Tigers and Twins, no score here in the 5th inning.
And Jacoby roped a double down the left field corner his first time up. The hardest ball hit tonight by a Tiger. It was a two-seam fastball at 93. And he absolutely just turned on.
Ball missing high. And Jones trying to get it going here. He had a double in his last at bat. Here's the 1-2. 2-2. Now, how many players these days do you think would know who Mr. Magoo was?
You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe not many. These guys are too young to know about Mr. Magoo. Although you'd be surprised, though, man. I mean, a lot of the old-time television shows that we used to watch when we were kids, I mean, they're all coming on TV on other channels, you know what I mean? Reruns.
I know this. As the 2-2 is tapped slowly. Going to be a tough play for Lynn. He's got to eat it. Jones with his speed beats it out, an infield single.
And that's exactly what the Tigers needed to get the leadoff hitter on base, somebody that can run, to put a little pressure on Lance Lynn. This is about as good as a bunt. There's nobody that's going to be able to throw Jacoby out at first base. Jacoby 2 for 2.
Anybody select him and Ram pick the stick tonight?
I don't know. Nobody pulled him off the board today.
I don't think so either.
We've heard that the television truck pulled him off. They always say that after the fact.
That's right.
They never chime in when we're picking Ram and pick the stick.
Here is Iglesias. Jacoby measuring his lead.
And no doubt we might see Jacoby on the move here if he can get a good enough jump with Lynn on the mound. Tigers have had a difficult time of scoring runs.
Little chopper slowly towards second. They won't get 2 out of this. Iglesias. Ooh, I think he beat it out.
There's kind of some kind of Iglesias ran into Dozier here, but I don't know what they're going to call. Paul Molitor is going to run out there, but
you mean Jones?
Jones, excuse me. Jones did interfere with Dozier, but he did not stop Dozier from making the play. Take a look here. Looked like he hit him with his lower half of his body. I don't know to what extent, but it looked like there's some kind of contact here.
Ooh, there was.
Second base umpire threw the safe call up right away.
Tigers, I think, want to challenge the call at first. Or they're still deciding. So Molitor's argument is over, but the Tigers will challenge the call at first base, it appears. It's a big play here. I mean, you've got first and second, nobody out. See if the Tigers can win this challenge.
And Tigers the challenge to play at home plate last night. That was initially ruled against them, and it was overturned. The swipe tag applied to Max Kepler as he tried to score on a base hit to left field. There's Iggy jumping for that bag. It's close.
Very close. many times you tell them, Ron, run through the bag.
Yeah.
You never do.
I mean, it's your natural instincts, Mario. I think of all guys, they just start running down there, and you know, they just think that by jumping at the bag, they can get there quicker. But the way I like to equate it to is if you go to watch a track meet and you watch the guys run a 60-yard dash, or you watch the guys run a 40-yard dash, as a call stands on Iglesias, he is out. You don't ever see the track stars jumping for the tape.
That's a good point.
You see him running through the tape. You never see him jump when they get there.
No, that's a very good comparison. So they said he was out. About as close as you can get.
Jacoby has stolen third base this year. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mario.
One out, and Jones will see if he's in a running mood. And the way the Tigers have battled offensively and getting runs, he bluffed there.
Yeah, Brian Dozier, the second baseman, his responsibility is to keep Jacoby Jones close. Dixon Machado hits a lot of balls on the ground to the left side of the infield. That's why Andre Anza, the shortstop, is staying put right now. Dixon does not drive the ball the opposite way all that often.
Ground ball, third base side. Escobar has it there, and the runner will not advance. There are two away. Tigers take on the White Sox Saturday, May 26th at 4:10. The first 10,000 fans receive a free LK Line 1968 50th anniversary bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com. Two gone now. We'll see if Martin can come up with the two-out knock. Leonis reaching on an error in his last at bat. Adrianza sneaking in behind the runners, so Lynn stepped off. Rolled foul, 0-1. So Martino is over his last 18. Time for a base hit.
Here's a new pitching coach, Garvin Alston, here in Minnesota. He has spent a number of years. Most of his coaching career has been spent with the Oakland Athletics. Last year, he was a bullpen coach in Oakland. The year before that, he was a bullpen coach in Arizona. He's been around baseball for a long time. Finally makes it to the big leagues. I know he has to be pleased with the effort that Lance Lynn is giving him so far tonight.
Garvin had a cup of coffee with Colorado in '96. His only big league time. One and one on Martin. Leonis was activated Friday, had not played since May 9th. He tried to play through that injury problem, which he suffered back in Texas on the last road trip. It finally started to swell up on him, and that's when he sat down a couple of games. They finally decided to put him on the DL.
I started to ask Ron Gardenhire today what was the difference between Martin and Jeimer Candelario, why one go down for a rehab assignment and one not go, but I pretty much answered my own question. Jeimer had the hand injury, so they want to see him swing, whereas Martin had the leg injury, and all they wanted to do was see him run the bases.
Ground ball, first base side, fair ball, then will cover, and that will end the inning. Tigers threaten again to leave the man in scoring position. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, it's the Chevy Memorial Day sales event. Starting your summer off right in a new Chevrolet. Nighttime settling in now here in Minneapolis. The Tigers and Twins game 2. And not a whole lot going on tonight. It's been dominated by both Boyd and Lynn, although the Tigers have had the better of the scoring chances.
And Boyd has only given up 1 hit so far.
Star Wars night here tonight.
Yeah. In full effect.
2-0 the count on Mitch Garver. The Twins lost Jason Castro, their starting catcher, to a knee injury, and he's gone for the rest of the year. And the thought is the Twins somehow, someway, are probably going to have to make a deal for a catcher.
And right now, the former Tiger, Bobby Wilson, backing up Garver.
2-1 the count. Three and one. Really, the only scoring chances that Minnesota has had tonight have been because of walks. Matt walked 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. And there's another walk, 1 here in the 5th.
Here's our Xfinity, the high-speed pitch on Matthew Boyd. Top fastball tonight at 92. He has gone as low as 70 with either his curveball or it could be his circle change.
Logan Morrison. Morrison had a single in the 2nd infield base hit, which to this point remains the only hit the Twins have had. Now ball 2, that'll send James McCann out to the mound.
Boyd has done his best work this year against left-handers. The batting average against him this year, 146. Lefties hit 256 against him last year. That's batting average of balls put in play. That is very low at just 182. And take a look at that bottom note. Exactly what I explained to you.
BABIP. The old BABIP. 2-0 was fouled back.
Even we have a few more numbers to digest these days. It's the way the game's evolved. The terminology have changed.
I think baseball, more than any other sport, has always been more statistical. I think even fans have, attached numbers to even the great moments in the game, like Babe Ruth 714 or DiMaggio 56.
You know what I did not know, though? I did not know that analytics were so prevalent in the other sports now, though. Yeah. Hockey, basketball, football. Everybody now has analytics departments crunching numbers, trying to give an edge to their players.
Saw that ratio on Boyd through 60 pitches. He has missed with quite a few of them, and he's missed again. And now we've got back-to-back walks. So Boyd has walked 4 in the game. Well, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University.
It's only the first time this year that Matthew Boyd has walked 4 batters in a game.
Espacio is out to the mound now after walks to Garver and Morrison.
Ron Gardenhire was commenting on the base on balls that have been beating his squad lately. He talked about the big base on balls last night in the 8th inning to Escobar, who came around to score or run in that particular inning. He said you just got to throw some more strikes. Something's wrong with Boyd.
Yep, don't want to see this. Here comes Doug Teeter, and you can tell the way that Bosio was talking to Boyd. So the head athletic trainer, Doug Teeter, is out to make sure Boyd's all right. I don't know if he noticed anything in his first 2 at-bats here, or against his first 2 batters.
Well, if they're going to err on any side, it's going to be on the side of caution with Matthew Boyd. That much we do know. He has pitched way too well this year. He is way too valuable to the success in the future of this squad.
And he is disappointed right now coming out of the ball game. And Rod Gardner explained to him, you got to come out. And so the Tigers will have to go to the bullpen here in the 5th. Not what they expected. And we'll see who's going to get the call. Warwick Soppold is picking up his glove. Bullpen now on high alert. So the Tigers go to the bullpen. The Warwick Soppold will have to take over here as Matt Boyd leaves, and we'll be back to Minneapolis.
Boyd through before departing the game in. Apparently, Chris Bosio detected something. I mean, really can't tell until the last moment. He's going to take his left arm. He's going to reach back for the left side of his back right there. I mean, I don't know if that's it or not, but we'll soon find out exactly what it is with Matthew Boyd. He had to walk off with the head athletic trainer, Doug Teeter. And, man, he's had a tremendous blow for this team who has already had a ton of injuries already this season. I mean, just another really tough situation.
It's kind of the story of the year and the way things have gone for the Tigers this year, Rod. But Matthew Boyd, I think, you know, when you look at his outing today, he was so dominant early in the game that it's uncharacteristic for him to walk a couple of guys back to back. So I know he didn't want to come out of the ball game, but probably the best thing for us to do.
Yeah, I had made the point as well that he's walked 4 already here today, and he has not completed the 5th inning, and really that's the most he's walked all year. So you can kind of see possibly that maybe something was ailing him. But as I said before, if you're going to err on any side, it's going to be on the side of caution with Matthew Boyd.
Meanwhile, Lance Lynn, I mean, the Tigers have had some chances. They've left men in scoring position, but Lynn probably as good as he's been all season for Minnesota.
You know, he pitched in his last outing against his former team, the St. Louis Cardinals, a team he had spent 7 years with. And I think the Minnesota folks thought that maybe he was too amped up. He was trying to do too much going up against his former team. They were hoping he could come out today and throw a lot of strikes. He's thrown about 74-75% fastball. The other mixture of breaking balls and changeups, and the Tigers just haven't been able to figure him out like so many other teams in the American League have.
You can tell this Tigers offense now really needs an infusion of some starters to come back. We talked about Cabrera, we talked about Candelario. Once these guys get back in their lineup, it's just going to make it a little bit more legit.
Well, you're talking about your number 2 hitter, and James was outstanding in that spot. A switch hitter can hit from both sides, which gave him a huge advantage. And you had Miguel batting in that number 3 spot. Then you had the trickle-down effect with Castellanos and Victor. Everybody was able to slot down one spot because of Miguel Cabrera. And Jamer was getting off. I mean, let's just make it what it was. He was really good in that number 2 spot for the Tigers.
Yep. So the Tigers are going to have to pull Warwick Saupold out, and he will come out of the bullpen here and try and eat up some innings for the Tigers that not expect to have to go to the bullpen this early tonight. And Warwick in our wall-side windows pitching chain.
And Warwick pitches quite a bit. He's having a really good year. 17 games, 216 earned run average. He pitched in last night's contest as well. Warwick has a fastball that moves east to west about 91 to 93. He also has a nice tight breaking ball to use when he gets ahead.
So Max Kepler will step out of the dugout and pinch hit for Lamar. 2 on and nobody out. And Kepler looks at a ball outside, 1-0.
And Saupold, as I told you, throws that fastball about 35% of the time. That's a four-seam fastball. He really likes his cutter. He throws that about 38% of the time. He's got a curveball and a changeup. Doesn't use the change that often, mainly to lefties.
Kepler last night a big 2-run double in the ball game. Waiting on the 1-1. Low ball 2.
And Kepler's only had 1 at bat this year in a pinch hitting role. 0 for 1. He usually starts the game. We told you earlier he didn't start the game because of his numbers against Matthew Boyd. And Boyd pretty much had handled Kepler.
Popped him up. Third base side for Goodrum. 1 out. Well, coming up at Comerica Park, it's University Days, and all you have to do is show up and show your school spirit. School packages include a game ticket, Tigers cap, and your school colors, and a donation back to your university. If you'd like to purchase a package, or for more information, go to tigers.com and take part in University Days. Here is Adrianza. Saupold coming in, trying to strand a couple of walks. Adrianza had a walk in the 3rd. Driven foul, back out of play. So Boyd will go 4+2 batters. The runners on the bases are still his responsibility. Saupold earlier this year picked up his first Major League save against the Royals. That was back in late April. Diving low. 1 ball and 1 strike on Adrianza, the former San Francisco Giants. Ball 2. From bullpen that has been kind of beat up on this road trip. Having an emergency guy come in here in the 5th inning, probably the last thing Ron Gardenhire wanted to see.
No, I mean, if you really think back to maybe the last couple of weeks or so, you had Liriano go the 8 innings just a couple of days ago in Seattle. You had Michael Fulmer go 6 frames in Seattle. Well, by and large, in the last 10 days or so, Tiger starters staying out there just about 5 innings just means the bullpen He's been getting a lot of work. Fires. He pitched 5-6 innings the last couple times he's gone out there.
3-1 on Adrianza.
Yeah, make him put it in play. On the ground.
Driven toward right field. Castellanos on the move. It's over his head. Up against the wall. 1 run scores. Morrison being held at third base. Double and an RBI for Adrianza.
And Sappold backed himself into a corner. It's 3-1, which means you got to throw a fastball. And even though it's down at 92 miles an hour, Adrianza knows he's going to get that fastball. Most left-handers are low ball hitters too. And so it appeared to be right in his nitro zone. He was able to drive in 1 big run there.
6th double of the year for Adrianza. That's his 4th RBI.
You know, there's sometimes, Mario, where your team kind of gets in a little bit of a rut. You can walk some batters and, you know, those guys don't score. But the last 3 games, it seemed like every time the Tigers walk somebody, and they're coming around to score.
Yeah, they had 3 walks in the 8th inning last night. Buxton rolls 1 foul.
And then they had that 1 game over in Seattle the day before the final game where they walked a few batters late in the game, and a lot of those guys came around to score too.
Yeah, Seattle had that 4-run 6th inning, couple of walks in that frame. Adrianza at second, Morrison at third, infield in a couple of steps. Buxton looks at a ball low, 1-1. Sack bunt in his first at bat. Two and 1.
Even when you go up against a guy like Buxton, who is struggling mightily. I mean, right now, from a batting average standpoint, you put him in a 2-1 count, and all of a sudden he becomes a dangerous hitter if you throw him a fastball.
In there, a strike call. Buxton was 0 for 3 in the ballgame last night. Came in batting just .157. Spending time on the DL with migraines.
He's playing with a broken toe.
Chopper left side of the infield, going to come home, and out at home plate is Morrison. 2 gone. That'll help.
And 1 hopper right at Goodrum. A nice firm feed to McCann, who braced for contact, able to apply the tag.
First and third down with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Brian Dozier.
And Buxton on first base has stolen 29 consecutive bases, 4 this year, 25 last year. If he runs, you should not throw the ball to second base, because more than likely you're not going to throw him out. You don't want to run the risk of throwing the ball into center field. And on top of that, if you throw the ball down to second base, Adrianza, who's on third base, might just try to steal a run. So we'll see what James McCann wants to do with the baseball, but I don't think he's going to throw it to second.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Buxton doesn't run here at some point. Adrianza on that last stretch there by Sappold was faking like he was coming home.
And they've got some data on Byron Buxton over the course of the last 4 years that tells everybody that likes to crunch numbers, he's the fastest guy in baseball. There's no one faster than Byron Buxton. Whether running down the line, whether going first and third, whether inside the park home run, he is the fastest player in Major League Baseball.
Dozier swings and misses.
Buxton was an outstanding high school football player too. Here's what I'm talking about right here. Feet per second. 31 feet per second in 2015, which was tops in all of baseball. This year so far, 30 feet per second. You see the average of 27. He can fly.
Well, Buxton in his career has stolen 46 bases. He's been caught only 5 times.
They just can't get him to get on base enough to really use that speed as a weapon. But you can see Saupo paying a lot of attention to him.
There he goes. Line to right field, slicing away. Castellanos won't get it. It'll go to the wall, and this will score 2 runs. Dozier is on his way to second with a 2-run double.
Dozier has 2 doubles the opposite way in the series, and usually right field is foreign to Brian Dozier. I know Dozier's very dangerous on fastballs inside, but at some point in time during the course of the series, you might just have to show him a fastball or 2 inside off the plate, and to get him to think about that so that he's not driving the ball to right field with the kind of authority that he did right there, because he's not a guy that usually hits the ball that direction.
Dozier now with 18 RBIs. That'll make it a 3-0 Minnesota lead. Here is Grossman.
And that's kind of what Byron Buxton provides for the Minnesota Twins, Morrow. He gets on first base, and all of a sudden the pitcher is preoccupied with him. And then sometimes, and because you are preoccupied with that guy on first base, you might not make the best pitch that you could make in that situation.
Boyd's line is final now. 4+, 1 hit, 2 runs, 4 walks, and no strikeouts.
It's an odd line tonight for Matthew.
Very odd line. Only 1 hit. But the 4 walks have been the trouble, and the Twins have cashed in. Grossman strokes one in the air to left field. That ball is hit well. Jones with a leaping catch.
What an athlete.
Jacoby Jones runs it down, a mini leap to save a run. Twins get 3.
Defensively, really, he takes a back seat to no one, playing center field or left field. Makes another real nice play off the left-handed bat. Sprint speed, 22 feet per second. Catch probability very high, but he did cover quite a bit of distance.
That would have been another run for Minnesota. Jacoby leaping catch. Nicely done, saving the Tigers a run. Still 3-0 now as we go to the 6th.
The Tigers have to fight now. You know, Lynn's going to come right after him. He's got a 3-run lead. has not pitched well in this ballpark all year.
Castellanos rolls one up the middle. There you go. Base hit. Another first pitch swing for Nicholas. He is 2 out of 3 tonight.
Better than 50% of the time, Nicholas Castellanos offers at that first pitch. Right back up the box.
That'll bring in Victor Martinez.
Victor came in with outstanding career numbers here. As we get a look at Castellanos' numbers on the first pitch of an at-bat, 380. But Victor hasn't gotten loose in the first couple of games of this series. Does not have a hit yet.
Again, I will submit, knowing those numbers on Castellanos, why you would give him anything close to home plate on that first pitch would be on.
Right, I agree with that.
But I guess, you know, guys just don't want to fall behind 1-0.
Exactly.
Bouncing ball right side. Dozier spins, fires to second. One, relay to first. A double play. Second 4-6-3 that Victor is knocked into tonight.
And Victor getting down that line about as fast as he can get down that line, but just does not run well at age 39, and they're able to turn it over again.
That'll bring up John Hicks. We have gotten word now on Boyd. Left oblique spasm. Little bouncing ball to third base, charging there Escobar, and Hicks is out just like that. Promising start fizzles. No runs, 1 hit, never left.
How are we, Tonio? You all right? We're okay so far.
He's taking the post.
We hope. Yeah. I'm mic'd up, remember this? I'm mic'd up, so you be careful. You watch yourself, all right? More than anybody else, you watch yourself.
Gardy mic'd up. Some sounds of the game tonight. Tony Oliva and who else? Paul Molitor and
Eddie Guardado.
Eddie Guardado.
Everyday Eddie, as they used to call him here in Minnesota. He was a closer for Ron Gardenhire for a number of years.
Wallside windows pitching change. Buck Farmer is out of the bullpen. And he's got Rosario, Escobar, and Garver.
And 24th game that Buck Farmer has been in this year. Buck, a former starter. He has all 4 pitches, fastball, curve, slider, change, although he hasn't used all 4 of those in a relief role. Primarily fastball, changeup for Buck.
Farmer came on in the 11th inning on Sunday in Seattle, gave up a single to D. Gordon, a stolen base, and then a hit to Segura to quickly end that game. That's in the air to center field for Martin. Rosario retired, one gone. We'll bring up Escobar. I think Gardy was pretty pointed after that outing by Buck on Sunday, saying, look, I mean, he's got to get outs there, and our bullpen just has to get outs. You put guys in positions to try and succeed, and the bottom line is you've got to get outs to this level.
Well, Gardy just said, too, they got to throw strikes. I mean, you just can't beat yourself with the base on balls. He doesn't mind when guys give up hits, but, you know, it's kind of troublesome when guys can't find the plate. But it happens from time to time.
Yeah, that was the issue last night. Walks, 3 of them for Daniel Stumpf, 1 with the bases loaded. Now, 1 was intentional. Escobar looks at a strike, 1-1.
Good pitch right there. Probably was a changeup. Buck's got a good changeup.
If you tuned in a bit late, Matt Boyd had to leave after 2 walks in the 5th inning. Soppold came on and he gave up 3 runs in that frame.
And we saw Matthew Boyd reach and grab for his left side before departing the game, so we were pretty much on what the injury was.
Oblique spasm took him out of the game.
Now here's Boyd's day. He was awfully good against this Minnesota Twins team. Had only given up 1 hit, but he had walked 4. Command not as good as normal, but a lot of lazy, soft contact off his bat until he threw that final pitch and walked his 4th batter. And they detected something not quite right in his delivery. Chris Bosio took a stroll to the mound, and he called for Ron Gardenhire and the head athletic trainer as well, Doug Teeter. Here's one more look at the last pitch Matthew threw. You're going to watch him in a moment take that left hand and reach for, I guess that's the oblique.
And this just tweeted by Tigers PR. The oblique taking Boyd out of the game. And again, it gets back to the bottom line that Gardy was talking about today. Got to score some runs. Got to start taking pressure off the bullpen. That ball misses there, 2-2. And the Tigers certainly had early scoring chances in this one. They had 2nd and 3rd, couldn't score in the 2nd. And seemingly had at least 1 or 2 base runners against Lynn. Low ball 3. Mitch Garver had the walk to start things off in the 5th. He eventually came around to score. Got him, strike 3. Garver caught looking. 1, 2, 3 for Buck Farmer. Pair of strikeouts. We go to the 7th. The Ram pick the stick update is as follows.
Ouch.
Rod at the -4.
Yeah, Victor, man. 2 double play balls today.
Gibby leading the way with 2. So it's another tough night.
Ooh, my goodness.
Still plenty of time. Here is Nico Goodrum to lead things on.
Got to be more careful.
Goodrum, McCann, and Jones. Strikeout, ground out for Nico. Lance Lynn back to the hill. He has thrown 84 pitches. He only needed 4 pitches to get through the 6th.
Did you know that Ron Gardner-Heyer had a son that was managing in Cedar Rapids for the
Toby.
Minnesota Twins minor league system? I didn't know that.
Toby Gardner-Heyer.
Yeah.
Ground ball back up the middle, played perfectly is Adrianza, and Nico is out. And Gardy was mic'd up before the game today during BP, talking about the stress of managing.
What stress?
He'll tell you.
I don't have any more hair to lose, so it doesn't matter. It's all gone, so I can't rub any more out. Now Toby's down in, managing in Cedar Rapids with the Twins. And I told him, I said, so you happy? You like it? And he's like, I really like it, Dad. It's fun. I said, so you're going to have no hair when it's all said and done. Managing makes it fall out.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, not me. I'm like, oh, yeah, you.
We'll see. Well,
I had hair, too.
Yep.
I had hair, too, so.
Yeah, those kids never want to believe they could lose the hair. And so apparently managing runs in the family for the Gardner-Heyers.
Well, I know Toby's going to be a good one because he's had a really good role model to watch for a number of years. And a lot of times as a son, man, you get a chance to go to the ballpark with Dad. You get a chance to hang with Dad a lot in the clubhouses, and you're around the ball players all the time. And you played the game, obviously. So I'm sure his son will have a nice career as a manager.
Gardy has always been about family. Even when he was the manager of the Twins, he would have all of the players' kids out on Sundays and throw batting practice to them before the game.
The Minnesota Twins, Mario, for me, were one of the last kind of mom and pop operations for a major league team.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't corporate for a long time. I mean, Terry Ryan was the general manager for a number of years. I mean, a number of years. I mean, and everybody, it was like a family. I mean, the Dodgers were like that for a long time. Tigers have a really nice family atmosphere.
90 now for Lynn. A couple of rocky innings early. He survived those. He is leading 3-0. Fouled away. The longest that Lynn had gone in any start before this one here tonight was 6 innings. He had done that twice. I mentioned he lasted only 3 in his last start against the Cardinals.
Well, Lance Lynn tonight is pitching more like the Lance Lynn that the Minnesota Twins thought they were signing. They got a bargain. They signed him for 1 year, $12 million.
Still throwing 95 here in the 7th. Lynn was originally a first-round pick of the Cardinals in 08 out of Mississippi. Didn't get a contract this year until March 12th when Minnesota signed him up. Ground ball foul, third base side. I would imagine when you're a starting pitcher and you don't get signed till mid-March, half of spring training is over. Actually more than that, because these guys come to spring training in mid-February. I mean, that's really got to throw your timing off.
Well, Garvin Alston, the pitching coach for Minnesota, he's the new pitching coach here. He felt like that's one of the reasons why Lance Lynn got off to a slow start in the month of April. It was basically going through spring training with his new team. Even though he was pitching and he was throwing some, throwing off mounds, it's nothing like getting with your team and doing all the PFPs and everything that you do every single day to get yourself prepared for a regular season. He wasn't able to do that.
No, and he wasn't pitching in games either until later in spring camp. Tiger box a little bit thin tonight. 3-2 on McCann. Single strikeout for James tonight. Popped him up. First base side. Morrison has room. 2 away. Time for a game break now, and John Keating. He's going to get paid John Keating money once the season is over.
Harper had been struggling. He really hasn't been performing all that well, but he's getting it done tonight. But John brings up a great point. I think most people out there understand he's one of the best guys in the game.
Jones hit by the pitch with 2 outs.
Jacoby's been on 3 times tonight. Nice little breaking ball.
We'll bring up Iglesias. Jose Iglesias takes on the Minnesota Twins tonight by AARP, and here are his numbers against the Twins. 327.
Yeah, 14 extra base hits, on base percentage over 350, nearly 400 here in his last 10 games at Target Field. They could use a gapper right here. First time we've seen Garvin Alston make a visit to the mound. He didn't have to go visit Barrios last night.
They have action. Ryan Presley warming up. 105 is the most pitches that Lynn has thrown in any start this year. Ball 1 to Iglesias. Three runs on only 3 Minnesota hits. No runs, 5 Tigers hits. Iggy looks at ball 2.
And a nice job by Iglesias forcing Lynn into getting that ball up in the strike zone. He'll get a good fastball to hit here. 2 balls, no strikes. Iggy has a quick bat. Iggy can really turn on the fastball, especially when he knows it's coming.
Ball 3.
Probably going to be Lynn's last batter if he loses. Iglesias.
Machado waiting on deck. And he will lose him. A 4-pitch walk. Hit batter and a walk with 2 outs. Tigers have life here, and that's going to be it for Lance Lynn. Paul Molitor has made the call to the bullpen. So Ryan Presley will come in. Lance Lynn will go 6 2/3 in this game. And as the Twins go to the bullpen, we'll step aside. 3-0 Minnesota.
for the Tigers until the Matthew Boyd leaving with an oblique strain, and that kind of opened the door for the Minnesota Twins, who really had not done a whole lot. That's a 3-1 fastball from Sapol to Adrianza, and he drives the ball over the head of Nicholas Castellanos for a double. And then Brian Dozier goes the opposite way on a fastball up in the strike zone for another double. And they played 3 runs in that particular frame, the bottom half of the 5th.
So Ryan Presley comes on and take on a pinch hitter. It's going to be Mikey Matuk. And Mikey swings and misses 0-1.
And Ron Gardenhire going for a 3-run home run here, at least a gap shot, trying to take advantage of the fact that Mikey does have some pop in his bat. Mikey had 12 homers last year.
Presley in the wall side windows pitching change.
Presley with some outstanding numbers, pitching some really good baseball for his squad right now. 96 with a 2-seam action, some sinking action.
It was a couple of years ago that Presley appeared in 72 games out of the bullpen for the Twins.
That's a lot.
Last year, 57 contests. Wave and a miss. 1-2.
Land got some high fives, but he wasn't real happy about the end of his day. You'd think he would take that, wouldn't you?
I don't think so.
0-3 at the house with a 6.23 ERA to pitch 6 2/3 scoreless frames, and you don't like it?
He hit a batter with 2 outs, then he walked a batter. Here's the 1-2.
And we've seen the Presley fastball get up to 96. He also throws quite a few sliders, about 25% of the time, in a curveball. He's got 3 pitches: fastball, slider, curveball. 50% with his fastball, the other 50% the combination of the curve and the change. They got double barrel action in their bullpen.
Zach Duke, Trevor Hildenberger.
Their bullpen's been good lately too.
Month of May, it's been very good.
The best.
Mikey hanging tough, fouls off another one. Tigers have the tying run at the plate here. Matuk pinch hitting for Machado. Blocked by Garver, now 2-2. Leonis Martin waiting on deck. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Matuk is out. So are the Tigers. No runs. They strand a pair. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the 7th here in Minneapolis. Mario and Rod back here at the ballpark. And while the Tigers, Rod, continue to have scoring opportunities in this game, they just have been unable to capitalize. And that's something Gardy has said over and over.
Yeah, they have no problem getting guys on base for the most part on a nightly basis, but they have had some issues driving in big runs. We've well documented the fact that there's no Miggy, there's no Jamer Candelario. They just have to get somebody else to step up. Jamer's on his way back. After maybe 3 games, he might be back in the lineup. And Miguel took a lot of batting practice today, and Ron Gardshire said he swung the bat very well today in BP, so he may be on the horizon himself soon.
Morrison leading things off here, looks at his strike. And you talk about Matt Boyd now, and for those that tuned in late, he had an oblique problem taken out of the game early. The last thing literally the Tigers need is another injury.
Yeah, and you got to watch those obliques closely, because you don't want it to linger. You don't want it to be any worse than what it might be right now. They call it a strain, which means that it might not be that bad right now. So they got him out of there at the proper time. They'll treat it, and they'll treat it aggressively, and hopefully he doesn't miss much time.
Pete Cosma will enter the ball game. He'll play second after the Tigers pinch hit for Machado. Morrison, Kepler, and Adrianza here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Morrison has shown the door. 1 away. Third strikeout now for Buck. Hey, the Liney Summer Party Pack includes a game ticket and voucher for a draft beer for as little as $19 per person. Available for every Friday and Saturday night home game. For tickets, go to tigers.com/Liney. Here's Kepler. Came on as a pinch hitter in the 5th and stayed in the game. He's 0 for 1. He popped up.
I like how you use that Morrison shown the door right there.
I didn't think anybody heard that.
I heard that. I heard that. You know, I'm not a big rock guy, but Jim Morrison was the lead singer of the Doors, right?
He was.
Look out, boy.
Yeah.
You can't get nothing past me.
No, you know what? I'm impressed. Now, did anybody feed you that? Or
No.
That?
I asked a couple questions, but I was on it.
Nice. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, you can't sneak nothing by me.
No.
Morrison shown the door.
The really good ones are the ones that people just don't get. They fly right over their head. Those are the
That was a good
ones.
one.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Otherwise, people just start to groan if they get it. Like, what's going on here?
Who knows?
That's sure I'd like to know. Kepler drives one in the air toward left center field. Martin on the run, looks up, and it's off the wall. Kepler is on his way to second. It'll be a double.
They've got a couple of really good left-handed hitters in Kepler and Rosario. Kepler didn't start in the game, but he takes that fastball at 94 at the bottom of the strike zone, and he flips it near the 375 twin sign. And before it gets back in for Martin, another double for Max Kepler.
He had a big double in last night's game, knocking in 2 to tie the ball game. Here is Adrianza. Ball 1. Farmer came on in the 6th inning. Saupold had to come on in relief of Boyd in the 5th. Farmer in the 6th, a 1-2-3 frame.
Before that double, believe it or not, Kepler was 3 for his last 40 against right-handed pitching.
Really?
As good as he is against left-handers, he was 3 for his last 40 before that double.
That ball hammered in the air toward left center field. Long run. Jacoby not going to get it. It'll bounce into the seats. It'll be a ground roll double, and the Twins will get another run. Back-to-back 2-base hits.
It's the second double of the game for Adrianza. Now, the last time he hit one over Nicholas Castellanos' head in right field, which also drove in a run. 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
Buxton stands in now. Fouled out of play. Buxton is struggling mightily offensively, but when you talk to those that follow the Twins on a daily basis, and even those in their dugout, they will tell you that even if he's struggling with the bat, they need him in center field.
Well, he won a Gold Glove last year and also a Platinum Glove in the outfield, which went to the best defensive player in baseball. They only hand out 1 Platinum Glove a year. And for whatever reason, Mario, he has very poor starts to the season, which he did the last 2 years. But last year, the second half of the season, he really picked it up, which meant that they felt like going into spring training this year, they had their number 3 hitter. That's where he ended the season last year. He was batting in the number 3 spot.
300 in the second half last year with 11 homers.
And not to mention all the stolen bases. So I guess if you're the Minnesota Twins, that's the one thing you're looking forward to, is the second half numbers that he was able to put up a season ago. I mean, you look at these numbers and they're not too bad compared to obviously what he's doing right now and what he did last year. 216 first half last year, 300 second half. On base percentage very good. I thought last year Paul Molitor had him in a real good place. As a matter of fact, he almost adopted the same kind of approach that Paul Molitor had, where he wouldn't stride. He would just pick that heel up and put it back right down, and he concentrated on using his hands. And he still has that same approach.
There's a base hit to left. They're going to try and score the run. Here's Jones's throw, cut off, throw to second, tag not in time. Single RBI for Buxton, another run in.
And Buxton with a real nice, simple approach. He did not stride. It was a breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone. He was able to hit it to left field solidly for a hit and an RBI.
$5-0 now, Minnesota. So Buxton gets his 4th RBI. Single advance on the throw, and now Dozier will stand in. He had a 2-run double in the 5th, and he hit it to the opposite field. Ball 1.
I don't know how many times in the series the Tigers have thrown Dozier anything inside. I mean, we know that he's a dead pull hitter. We know that he does all of his damage to the pull field. But even though a guy is as pull happy as Dozier, you still have to at times, as a pitcher, go inside, either off the plate inside to get him thinking about that, so that you can really go back outside to get him out the way that you want to. But if you just throw everything away, sooner or later he's going to look out there and he's going to get himself a couple of hits, as he's done in the series.
And that one caught the outside corner. 1-1. Star Wars night.
R2 Dozier.
Farmers 1-1.
Good fastball there by Buck at 95.
Farmer had a clean 6th, but much different here in the 7th. He has surrendered 3 straight hits, 2 of them doubles. Two and 2.
And Buck thought that was a strike 3 there.
Close enough to call. Buck didn't get the call. Ground ball foul. Hey, the Tigers and Twins are back at it tomorrow afternoon. We invite you to join us at noon for Tigers Live. It's right here on Fox Sports Detroit. It'll be the final game of the road trip. Tigers coming home for a nice, good, long homestand.
And Tigers playing much better baseball at home. 4 games over 500. 12-8.
Line drive, base hit right field. Buxton will score. Dozier on his way to second, and he is in with another double.
Dozier has 3 doubles to the opposite way in the series. 1 last night and 2 this evening. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch and how he goes after Dozier. First pitch away, 95. Change up down, away. 1 more away. 1 more down and in, sort of. And he goes back outside with that breaking ball 82, and Dozier rips the ball the other way, knowing that they're not going to come inside.
Six nothing Minnesota now.
As a matter of fact, a decent approach in this particular inning by all the hitters that have gone to the plate. The left-hander Kepler hit a double the other way. Adrianza hit a double the other way. And Dozier a double the other way.
There is still only 1 out in the inning. 3 runs in. In there, a strike called on Ravi Grossman. Tiger bullpen tonight is used Soppold and Farmer. And Buck now has allowed 4 straight hits. Oh, 2. Daniel Stump warming up. One and 2 on Grossman. Grossman robbed by Jacoby Jones on a leaping catch in left field in his last at bat. He has a walk tonight. Strike called, and Grossman didn't like it. Waves his hand at Marvin Hudson. Farmer says about time.
It's the last pitch that Grossman was looking for. Buck has 95 with his fastball, and he's thrown everybody away. Now he comes back with that fastball or changeup at 87 inside and freezes Grossman. So it doesn't have to be a fastball, the fact that it was inside. I don't know what Grossman was beefing about. That was a strike.
Sure was. Farmer thought he had Dozier struck out, didn't get the call, and Dozier ended up doubling. Eddie Rosario now with 2 outs. Indians put a pounding on the Cubs tonight, 10-1.
Ooh.
And that brings the Indians back up to 500. The Central Division did not have a team over 500 coming into play tonight.
Bauer pitched that game. Bauer pitching some good baseball right now. We saw him at Comerica Park that last homestand. He pitched well against the Tigers for the first time really in his career.
Rosario's 0 for 3. Tigers have now been out hit 7-5 in this game. Pair of 3-run frames for the Twins. The 5th and now here in the 7th. In there, a strike called. 1 and 2 on Rosario. Farmer's count now is about to reach 40. This will be his 40th pitch. Chopper toward third. Goodrum waits on the hop. And out at first base. Hold on, says Paul Molitor. We're going to check it. With Rosario busting it down the line. Goodrum took an extra step. It almost cost him. See if the Twins want to issue a challenge here. Bang, bang.
They're going to check it. I don't think they're going to overturn it, but they're going to check it anyway. They got nothing to lose.
I don't think they'll overturn this.
Hopefully it won't take long.
Two umpires involved are Marvin Hudson and Chad Whitson. Actually, Kellogg and Whitson, a bigger part. Crew chief and the umpire that was involved in the play. It's funny, on these bang-bang plays, you could look at several different angles. And they're all different. They all seem like a different result. Nothing is out. At least enough for the call to be upheld. I don't think we'll change this one. So they continue to look at this one. And now we will find the decision. Got him. So the inning is over. The Twins get 3 more runs, though. 7 in the books. You're watching Tigers baseball, presented by Bell Tire. Chevrolet's most dependable player is the lowest bullpen ERA in the American League this month. Well, there you go.
Yeah, Minnesota with a 2.86. And Houston not far behind, followed by the New York Yankees. Oakland Athletics, Boston Red Sox on that list as well.
Zach Duke has come on out of the bullpen now for the Twins. He'll replace Presley, who got the final out of the 7th. Wallside windows numbers now on Mr. Duke.
And Duke has 7 holds this year. And 360 earned run average. And 20 strikeouts. 11 walks. He's averaging a strikeout per outing.
He will deal with the top of the lineup, Martin, Castellanos, and Martinez.
Has allowed just 1 earned run in his last 16 appearances spanning 12 innings.
Ground ball first base side. Duke will cover, and Martinez out. One gone here in the 8th. We'll bring up Castellanos. Two out of three for Nick. Big swing there. No surprise, offering at the first pitch.
Well, he swings at it more than 50% of the time. And they've got a shift on Nick. He's got a lot of room down in that area since if he wants to drive something down in that corner. Nick has the classic inside out swing if Duke stays away from him.
Zach Duke has been around a long time. He broke in 05 with the Pirates and spent a lot of years with Pittsburgh. He's also been with Arizona, Washington, Cincy, Milwaukee, and the White Sox.
His fastball tops out at about 87, 88 miles an hour. He's got a slider, cutter, curve, change. Doesn't throw many fastballs. Not overpowering at all. Yeah, but you don't have to be in the big leagues if you can locate.
Back in the early days, a starter for the Pirates. Fouled away.
Pretty good starter back in the day.
Yeah. It's Sunday, May 27th. Tigers take on the White Sox at 1:10. Sunday Kids Day, and the first 10,000 fans receive a free Nicholas Castellanos bobblehead. 866-66-TIGER or tigers.com.
Nick hurt his hand on that last swing.
I don't see that. With all the injuries the Tigers have had.
I guess it stung him a little bit. Might have hit it off the end of the bat.
3-2. Single in the first, single in the 6th, and both times he was erased on a double play by Martinez. Swing and a miss. He floated one by him at 73 miles an hour. Two gone here in the 8th. Here is the upcoming matchup. Presented by Wallside Windows. The finale tomorrow, Rod, has at least Michael Fulmer on the mound for the Tigers.
Yeah, they're going to have to lean on Michael tomorrow. Michael was brilliant through 6 frames in his last outing against Seattle. Then he went out for that 7th inning, and he walked a couple of batters. Tigers went on to lose that game, but Michael was brilliant while he was out there for the most part.
Viard batting right-handed.
It was almost reminiscent of the start that Michael Fulmer had in Texas, where he was brilliant through the first 5 or 6 innings, and he went out there for that next inning and he had a little difficult time of finding the strike zone.
Yeah, that was the 6th inning in which he issued a walk to Delano Shields and it fell apart. And Michael got through 6 in the Seattle start, and then in the 7th the base on balls hurt.
Michael's got that fastball that sits at about 95. He touched 97, 98 in that outing against Seattle. I think he threw like 89 pitches in the game, and 49 of them were 95 miles an hour and above. So I'm sure Michael Fulmer will be just like that tomorrow afternoon. Early start tomorrow.
Yeah, an hour earlier here in Minneapolis for the final game of the road trip. Viard shoots one down the left field line. That's going to go to the wall. Martinez will take the turn and put on the brakes.
Victor had a rough day today so far, but all it takes is one good swing to get you ready for the next day. That's a double rip down in the corner, but Rosario gets over to the ball in a hurry, and he's got a real strong arm, so Victor thought better of trying to stretch that single into a double, down by 5 runs.
John Hicks, the batter. Tigers have their 6th hit. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Six nothing lead. Martinez at first. They will play behind the runner at first. And now Duke with the 1-1. Hicks a couple of ground balls and a strikeout. Two balls, 2 strikes. Tigers stranded 2 in the second. And again, they bounced into 2 double plays in the game. And they've left a total of 6 men on in this one. Grounded foul. He was out in front.
And Zach Duke gives you a lot of different looks. That time he dropped down to a sidearm angle, even though there's a right-hander in the batter's box. Usually left-handers that drop down to a sidearm angle. They're trying to be deceptive, and it's usually to a left-handed batter, not a right-handed batter.
Ground ball left side of the infield. Rosario, or I should say the shortstop Adrianson, who throws him out, and that'll end the inning. No runs, a single, 1 man left. Here comes the bottom of the 8th. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Great night for baseball here in Minneapolis. We're at Target Field. Tigers trail, though. It's a 6-0 game. Daniel Stumpf coming in.
And Daniel needs a clean inning. And right now, Daniel not pitching with much confidence. He's been struggling the last couple times he's gone out there.
It's belted to center field, but right at Martine, 1 gone.
That's a good start. 1 pitch, good, 1 out.
We'll bring up Garver. So let's see. The Tigers have had Sappold. Farmer went 2, surrendered 3 runs in the 7th inning, and now Stump here in the 8th. Mitch Garber had a walk and scored a run in the 5th, and he looks at a strike. 0-1.
Good firm fastball there by Daniel at 94.
Stump in the 8th inning last night walked a batter with 1 out, then gave up a double. Then the intentional walk loaded the bases, but he then walked Logan Morrison to drive in the go-ahead run. High towering drive center field. Martin going back to the track, to the wall to make the catch.
Ball stayed up there a long time, and Martin, with all his speed, able to run it down. Let's take a look at the big boy, big play of the game. Brian Dozier stepped up a couple of innings ago and hit one down in the right field corner. It was a double, and that double plated a couple of runs off Buck Farmer. Buxton was on the move on the play, able to come around and score.
Here is Logan Morrison. On base twice, single walk, run scored, and there's a strike from Stump. 95 on the fastball from Daniel.
Nothing wrong with the arm.
0-2.
Take one more look at Martin running down that ball in left center field. Gets a good jump on it, takes a direct route, and runs quite a ways to get there. And it's amazing how guys that have speed can make plays look easy.
He made that look really easy. Direct route to the baseball. They outran it. Morrison nubs one right in front of the plate. McCann will throw him out.
Just what Stump needed, a 1-2-3 inning.
That means we go to the ninth. All right, gentlemen, thank you. As we go to the ninth last call now for the Detroit Tigers. Game summary, the Tigers are down 6-0. Matthew Boyd had to leave with an oblique spasm and a couple of big nights. Brian Dozier, 2 out of 4, 2 doubles. 3 RBIs. Adrianza with a couple of doubles. A couple of RBIs for Minnesota. And now the Tigers down to their final 3 outs. Nico Goodrum looks at ball 1 to start the ninth. Nico is 0 for 3, couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Ball 2 outside, 96 from the new pitcher. His name is Matt McGill.
They got a couple of guys coming out of that bullpen throwing 95, 96. Presley was. McGill is. And we saw Fernando Rodney last night, 95 and above.
McGill was originally drafted by the Dodgers in the 31st round in 08. Dodgers system, Reds organization, Padres as well.
He throws straight over the top. And 96 with that last fastball. There's Fernando, former Tiger. He tied Goose Gossage last night all time
Did he?
Yeah, in saves.
Really?
Yeah, 310, I believe is the number. Yeah, Rodney's moving up on that list.
'95 again from McGill. Swing and a miss. He dusted him at 96. One out here in the ninth. Hey, streaks were made to be broken. Did you know that? Make history and win $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today in the App Store or on MLB.com/BTS. Here's McCann. One for 3 for James, one of the 6 Tigers hits in this game. Tigers tonight have stranded 7. Ball 1. Tigers in danger of falling 8 games under the 500 mark.
Seems like it was just yesterday we were talking about Tigers getting to 500, 1 game under.
Yeah.
That last homestand. It's been a rough road trip.
Another base hit for McCann. His second of the night, a 1-out single. Let's bring up Jacoby Jones.
Yeah, good to see Jacoby have a good game today. 2 hits, a double down the left field line. Also a swinging bunt. That'll give you some confidence. And going into tomorrow, got another big at bat right here.
Ball 1 to Jones. Tigers won the first game of the road trip in Seattle. That comeback win. They got 2 in the 8th and won 3-2.
Tough road trip because the Tigers very easily could have won a couple of more games in Seattle. They were leading in a couple of games late. A couple of outstanding pitching performances, one by Fulmer through 6 and one by Liriano through 8.
Tigers Live postgame coming up. You'll hear the comments from Ron Gardenhire. Jacoby waiting on a 1-1. Two and 1. McGill replacing Duke, who replaced Presley. Strike call now, 2-2. Lance Lynn goes 6 2/3 tonight. 5 hits, no runs, 4 punch-outs. He threw 100 pitches even. And his bullpen now trying to close out this win for him. Got him, strike 3. Jones did not like it. He's out of there, 2 gone. A little more sounds of the game in the Ron Gardner area. He still has a lot of friends and fans in this town.
Coming at the camera. You see that? Put my lips right on it. I got so many numbers now, you can't believe it.
Thanks, Cardi.
That's a Chrysler right here. You guys watch yourself. You don't know how tough I am.
And our thanks to Ron Gardner for wearing the mic tonight during batting practice. Kind of an inside look at what it's like for a manager to come back to a city in which is really so beloved.
No doubt. He spent a couple of decades in a Minnesota Twins uniform, 13 of those as a manager. He started as a third base coach for Tom Kelly, who he credits as being his mentor. Taught him how to manage, taught him everything about managing.
So it's 0-2 now on Iglesias. Fulmer and Gibson tomorrow in the finale. Missing high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now McGill with the 1-2. Ground ball short. Adrianza. And that is that. Tigers shut off for the 8th time this year. Final score is 6-0 in Minnesota. Now we'll send you to the Call Sam Studios. John Keating, Craig Monroe standing by with Tigers Live postgame.